All right, you guys, as you can see by the thumbnail, this one is going to be a little bit different. So, boy, here we go. So, I don't even know where to start with this. I really don't. But I'm just going to dig straight in. And, this right here is for the viewers. This is for the viewers. This is for those of you that have been with me for the long haul, those of you that believe in what I do, the positive ones, the ones that are not trying to always spin narratives in the comments, create a lot of controversy. You guys know I don't get into the drama. That's something that I don't do. I've been known not to be one of the channels that don't get in drama. Time and time again, I've stayed out of it. It's not something that I do because that's just not my thing. It's not how I get down. The back and forth stuff, that's not me. I don't handle my business like that. Other people obviously do. They're in the comfort of their living room or their garage or wherever they're at. That's what they do. YouTube, it's crazy. You guys have seen a lot of shit unfold on YouTube. You've seen people turn on people. You've seen friendships that have been broken. And these are 20-year friendships. These are friendships that have lasted a long time. But YouTube will bring out the worst in people, straight up. Since I've been doing YouTube, I've seen let's be straight up about this. There's a small circle of individuals that I've associated with. In the beginning, it was more so than now. And there's a reason for that. That reason is because, although I stayed out of the conflict, I stayed out of the drama, I sat back and I paid attention to the drama that was going on between other people, how they were getting down, how they were turning on each other, the back and forth, the everything that was happening. And I'm talking about this some low budget, grimy ass shit that they were doing. Shit that, that you say, damn, these dudes used to call themselves gangsters. These are the same dudes that tell all these crazy stories about themselves, but look at what they're doing. Like one of the, viewers said in one of the comments earlier, there's no loyalty in YouTube amongst the creators, just a bunch of chismosos, straight up. Cats that are trying to stir up a lot of controversy. They're trying to, spin narratives. The egos and the hypocrisy are just mind-blowing. It's so over the top that when you see it and you hear it, you're like, dude, everything you're saying is what you do, is what you just got through doing 5 minutes ago. The hypocrisy, constantly talking about what other people are doing, and 5 minutes later, they're creating a video and they're doing the same thing. So, over time, I kind of faded back. I stepped away from certain individuals because I seen the conflicts that they were in and what they did and how they reacted and how they responded. So that was enough for me to see that stuff. I was like, you know what? I'm just going to back up because there's no loyalty and I'm not going to get caught up in that. There's a bigger picture and there's other things I needed to think about. So that's one of the main reasons. The other reason is, like I said, I don't deal with my issues like that. If I got an issue with somebody, especially if it's somebody I know, if I got your phone number and I know how to get a hold of you, then we can link up. And if what I'm doing, if it really bothers you that much, we can link up, we can talk about it. We can go out and have a nice cold beer and we can talk about it. We can chum it up somewhere, you know what I'm saying? Just me and you can tell me about how much you don't like the things that I do. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm used to. I'm used to at least being man enough to, to deal with my issues the way that I deal with them, period. So, I try to stay out of the drama, but this is one of those situations where I have to respond. I have to respond to it because let's just say there's people that are saying, you know what, B, don't respond, you know what I mean? Take the high road and, don't give it no life. But because of the things that are being said, because of the controversial, nature of, the things that are happening or have happened, I think it's a worse look for me not to say nothing, to just completely ignore it and to act like, it never happened and just continue on with what I do. I think, that's a worse look. I don't think it's a good look. And if anything, I owe my viewers an explanation. I need to respond to them. So at least they can get that, they can be reassured that I'm still doing the things why, I've always said why I'm doing them, and that this is where I'm coming from. Instead of listening to somebody else, spin up a bunch of controversial bullshit. Now, originally, the reason why I waited, I was going to put this video out hours ago, but, I was so pissed off earlier in the day that I figured, you know what? I need to cool my jets, because if I go on YouTube right now and I address this, probably just going to be saying a bunch of shit that, I'm just going to feed into it. I'm going to get it off my chest, and it's not going to look good. It's not going to come out right. It's not going to, register the way I want it to register. This isn't about Josh from Homie Hangout. This isn't about, the reactionary video that he put out. Somebody that supposedly calls me a friend, somebody that he rocks with. I'm going to go over everything that was addressed, and I'm going to go over some behind the scenes things that you guys need to know about, since, that's what we're doing now. We're throwing stuff out there and we're putting it out there, and, especially for Josh. Josh is somebody that, his credo is moving in excellence, right? So Josh has been somebody that has continuously put himself up on a pedestal. He's somebody that, comes across as being this high and mighty, politically correct guy on YouTube that has something to say about everybody else. But when it comes to Josh and what he does, and when he does it, you don't got nothing to say about that. The hypocrisy it's mind-blowing. You know what I mean? It's mind-blowing. Do I want to make this video and respond to, the things that he said? Absolutely not. This is somebody I consider a friend. This is at least from my perspective, this is somebody that was able to call me and tell me, hey, B, I'm going through some financial issues right now. I can't buy, I don't got no food for the kids, and I'm struggling out here. Hey, bro, give me your Cash App. Here's a couple $100. Here, bro, put some groceries in your, in your refrigerator. Here's somebody that was able to call me when he was going through his issues with Gunner and Rojo, where they were on his helmet, and he didn't have a problem calling me then, and hey, B, man, he wanted me to mediate. Can you holler at them, tell them to just chill out? You know what I mean? It's I can't concentrate on getting my content out. It's creating a lot of interference. So I reached out to Gunner and Rojo, and I told, hey, man, leave the dude alone, man. He's he doesn't want no more drama. Just let it go. It's a bad look for all of us. So he seems to have forgot about all this. This was somebody that also that claims to move in excellence, but this is somebody that when he was going through his beef with Flacco, he couldn't wait to call me the next morning and to tell me how, he just got over on Flacco for $500. How basically how he extorted him. When him and Flacco were having their issues and Flacco's family was being attacked, he felt like his wife was being attacked, his kids were being drawn into it. They got on Flacco's helmet so much that he was willing to do anything just for it to stop. Just for it to stop. And what Josh did was he got Flacco to put $500 on his Cash App. Basically, he paid him to stop going in on him. But Josh, he couldn't wait to call me the next morning and tell me, hey, B, man, you want to hear fucking something, the latest? He's like, check this out, bro. Yesterday I had a conversation with that fool and wow, right? And, I told this cat to put $500 on my Cash App, and we could be cool and everything would be gravy. And next thing you know, bing, $500 on my Cash App. And that's something that somebody does when they move in excellence. And he couldn't wait to call me and brag about it, that this guy was getting victimized to the point where his family, the emotional stress they were causing him. You guys seen it all. You guys seen the whole thing play out, to where he got him for $500, and he couldn't wait to call me the next morning and tell me, hey, that fucking dummy, I could have probably got him for 1,000, but I got him for 500. It's like right here on my Cash App. You want to see, you know what I mean? So this is the kind of stuff that Josh does behind the scenes. It's okay for Josh to go after somebody like Gface, that's a rapper, that for whatever reason, Gface rubbed Josh the wrong way, to where Josh felt like he took it upon himself to get out there and let everybody know that Gface was a snitch. He was somebody that had gave up information to law enforcement. I don't even know the whole circumstances behind it, to be honest with you, because I didn't listen to it. I had no interest in it. You see, I'm the type of guy that when I heard Josh, what he was doing, I believe at that time I was still doing videos with Jerry. And it's something me and him talked about. You're like, damn, this dude's smarter than that, but why is he getting himself involved in these conflicts? He goes in on Gface and he puts him out there. He tells everybody that Gface is a cooperator, this guy from White Fence, gang member, he's active. He puts him out there on blast and says he's a snitch, pulls his paperwork, dissects, analyzes the case, lets you guys know without a doubt, without a shadow of a doubt, this guy is a cooperator, and this is how he told, and he explained it 5-6 different ways, so you guys really understood. So what was his purpose in that? According to Josh, his whole purpose in exposing Gface is because Gface is portraying himself to be something that he's not, because Gface is portraying himself to be, about that life. Why does that bother Josh so much so that he wants to put him in harm's way? So what if something would have happened to Gface? But, let's talk about it. Josh says that, he feels justified in going after Gface because Gface is a rapper and he's portraying himself to be something that he's not. Well, most rappers, they do try to portray that gangster lifestyle. That's what they do. It's part of their persona. It's part of that image that they need, to put out there to people in order for their music to sell. So, Josh's thing is, I felt like I was justified in exposing that dude because he was trying to be somebody that he wasn't. But in this situation where, Magoo was exposed, that's wrong because this guy is in prison somewhere and he was given a pass. That's a bunch of hogwash. It's a bunch of bullshit. Because at the end of the day, what he's doing is he's splitting hairs. At the end of the day, all that matters is that there's two individuals that are going to be put in harm's way. There's two people that have the potential of being hurt because of information that's being put out on YouTube. I don't put out a bunch of paperwork on people. You guys know my story. I would look like a hypocrite to do that. This story right here was a story that was passed on to me, so that's why I did it. This is not like I went searching for this story and then I go looking for content to put out about people to expose them. That's not what it was about. But Josh seems to think too that, because he didn't, he's not a rat and he done his time the way he was supposed to do his time, though he said so. But, I could speak on that. I'm not even going to do it. Waste of time. He says all these things, and I guess everybody's supposed to just take his word for it. I did my time the way I was supposed to do my time as well. I did 2 numbers. I left prison fully active. What happened in the county jail, I told you guys about it. I've been transparent about it, but okay, so what? So what? He feels like because you know, there's nothing, at least on paper, that anybody could see that he's justified doing it, because, you know, it's like the pot calling the kettle black, or whatever he said, right? But the bottom line is, when you get down to the nitty gritty, you know, the end result is the same thing. He put out information that could have got Gface hurt. It could have got him killed. He's out there on the streets. You know, somebody that's in prison, they don't got guns in prison. They got some nasty ass knives. You can get stabbed, turned into a human pincushion in prison, but somebody can't walk up to you and blow your brains out like they can on the streets. But he put Gface in harm's way. He put him out there, multiple videos. How much money did you make off those videos, Josh? Add all those videos up that you did on Gface. You know, he's making this about money and about views. Where'd all this come from? Where did all this come from? I don't understand some of these dudes that, and then to still continue to say, you know, I don't got nothing against B. I don't got nothing against him. You can't have it both ways. Be somebody I consider a friend. How many times has he said that on YouTube? And if something has changed, that's fine. But when did it change? Everything has been cool as long as I know. You know, at least when he needs money or when he needs a favor, he can call, and everything's been straight. But, you know, I have my ideas about where all this is stemming from. You know, there's other outside influences, or there's other things going on that, you know, just kind of brought this all about. I'm not even going to get into it. It's not even important. It's not important. But at the end of the day, B's not doing nothing different from anything any of these other content creators are doing. You guys need to understand that any of these prison stories that are being told, any of them, put the Magoo story aside for a minute. Put it aside. Let's take any one of these other channels that put out, you know, content about the Mexican Mafia, about the Nuestra Familia. Take any one of those stories. Somebody puts a story out about something that happened in prison, and, you know, they tell you guys the whole story. They go through everybody that was there, that was involved. And any one of those stories, any one of them has the potential of, you know, causing somebody to get hit or causing some kind of backlash, something that happened like it happened with Magoo and now with Dino. Because obviously the people that were there, everybody that was there on the yard when this was happening, it had to have come from one of them. So if you're telling a story about a Mexican Mafia member and there was 5 or 6 other individuals there when this happened, well, all 5 or 6 of those individuals become suspect of somebody that might have shared that story with whoever's telling it. As a result, these guys make an assumption that it must have been this guy. They try to plug their leak, and they, you know, it couldn't have been this guy. It's not this guy. It's not that guy. It had to have been him. And as a result of that, they whack this dude because they feel like, you know what, it had to have been him. He's the only one. Where do you draw the line at? How are you going to hold somebody accountable for that? You know, make no mistake about it. Dino, I've never spoken to Dino. I don't know Dino. That information did not come from Dino. It is highly unfortunate, very unfortunate that Dino caught this backlash, that happened to Dino. You guys that know me, you guys that have listened to my content, you know that it's not my intentions to have people hurt. I don't get no gratification off of that. To see Dino get hit, to see Magoo get hit, those are not my intentions. I said it before the video, you know, the flowery stuff that Josh referred to. You know, I put it out there. I try to put it in context. You know, my thing is, yeah, you know, I knew that Magoo was going to hear that video. Why wouldn't he? He's a Mexican Mafia member. I know that, you know, if I was locked up and there was somebody putting out content on the NF, I would listen to it because I want to know what's being said. So I knew Magoo was going to hear this. I also knew that everybody else was going to hear it. But I knew that I'm smart enough to understand that the Mexican Mafia, they're not going to just take that one video and run with it. As soon as the doors open up, they're going to come out, they're going to blast Magoo. That's not how it's going to work. I knew that if this was a real issue, that it would have been put out there and it wouldn't have had no effect on Magoo. If he got a pass and things didn't happen like that, or for whatever reason, regardless of the YouTube video, they were going to look at the video and say, you know, who's going to listen to a YouTuber? However, if there was something to it and it was really going to put him out there, I knew that Magoo, being a smart individual that I heard he is that he would get out of the way. He'd know that, you know what, my secret's out. This is something that, you know, Magoo has been sitting on for 20 years. Am I sympathetic about it? Of course. You know, my intention wasn't to, when I told you guys when I dropped the video, the thing I thought about was there's two things that could happen. Obviously, he could get whacked, or, you know, this right here might have the potential of you know, shedding light on it before somebody else finds out about it eventually, and, you know, him getting out the way. Yeah, of course, my video, it did create some of the things that have happened. Yes, it did. However, who's to say that something later on, somebody else's video that might have had just bad intentions, or somebody else that might have stumbled across it, or somebody that might have started, you know, politicking against him, another Mexican mafia member that might not have liked that might have come to find out about it. So, you know, there's a lot of people that are trying to spin this narrative that B's still trying to play this Machiavellian type of bullshit where he's still, you know, he's still active and he's still trying to take people down. I mean, come on, man. You guys really believe that? You guys tell me the difference between, so you remember the Salinas Valley incident that happened with the Africanos and the Norteños. The incident about the shower door opening or closing, and how it happened, and all this controversy that was spun up about that. Well, you got these storytellers that all talked about this incident. They all talked about the shower door, how it closed, how it might not have closed. At the same time, these are the same individuals that are supposed to be putting a message out for the kids, putting a message out, you know, for the better of the people. So you tell me why so much time was spent on talking about T Money running into his cell for 8 minutes, how much of a coward he was. He ran into his cell for 8 minutes and he changed his necklace, he changed his shoes, and he stood there and he did whatever else he did for 8 minutes. What part of helping the kids is that right there? What part of, you know, helping get that message out for the betterment of the people is that? Does anybody not think, I mean, does anybody really believe that that couldn't have led to T Money getting hit? That you had these YouTubers embarrassing the NF. It's the same scenario right here. You got individuals saying that, you know, they're embarrassing the NF, saying that this guy was in the shower, you know, when the shower door closed, and, you know, it doesn't take, you know, it takes a lot to close the shower door, and the shower door was closed by, you know, by Silencio, and he did it on purpose. I was the one that came out and said, you know what, no, Silencio didn't do that. I don't believe that he did that, because I know he's not a coward. And, you know, there's cameras that caught that on tape that said, you know, there was cats that seen the video footage that said, hey, the shower door can be seen being closed by the youngster that fell into it. But why did people spend so much time talking about the force that it takes to shut the door? You know, the amount of time that T Money spent in his cell. Tell me how that's different. So let's put this in perspective. When you're taking the time out to put this in perspective for people, and you say that during this altercation that's happening between the Africanos and the Norteños, that T Money could be seen running up in his cell. He goes in his cell for 8 minutes and he changes his shoes, and, you know, he changes his necklace, and who knows what else he was doing, but he stayed in there for 8 long minutes. What's the message in that? I mean, what's the purpose of bringing light to that? Because what's the purpose? I'll tell you what the purpose is. It's to put T Money in a bad light, to show everybody that T Money, was guilty of a cowardice act, and that he was an NF member, and that, you know, this is a form of hypocrisy within the NF. That was the message that was trying to be conveyed by a select few individuals. They spent a considerable amount of time talking about how T Money ran in the cell, and, you know, how these NF members do that. It's the same thing. You're embarrassing the NF. And what if T Money would have got hit behind that? I didn't speak on the Salinas Valley stuff until weeks after other people had already dropped 5 or 6 videos on it. And, you know, how much money did you guys make off of those videos? It's the same thing. It's the same thing. You know, the whole purpose in showing that T Money ran in the cell, that he stayed there for 8 minutes, was, again, to show that he was a coward. So what would people have said that dropped those videos about T Money running in the cell for 8 minutes? What would they have said if T Money would have got hit? If they would have hit him, you know, the next day or the following day or a couple of days later as a result of those YouTube videos, what would have been said then? Unfortunately, the difference is, you know, the video I put out, something did end up happening to Magoo. And I'll take full responsibility for it. You know, I made a judgment call. It was the wrong call. You know, I should have thought about it and maybe not have put it out there. But then again, that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. We're putting stories out there. How can I be blamed for that? You know, I hear people that are on YouTube talking about this is journalism. This is journalism. It's what we do. We tell stories. I don't make the rules. You know, it's unfortunate that we're talking about organizations that they have a strict set of rules. And, you know, this is the kind of treachery that we're trying to shed light on, you know, and we're skipping around, you know, situations like this right here. But I know that, you know, that anytime a story gets put out, that we're dealing with organizations that have, you know, that operate under a strict set of rules. And again, these are not the rules that I make. I don't make them. You know, this is the kind of treachery that I try to shed light on, is that, you know, people get hurt for things like this, for, you know, for staying in the cell for 8 minutes, or for making a statement when they were 16 years old. You know, so the people that want to blame me, the people that want to say, you know what, B is the one that ended up getting Magoo, you know, to lock it up, and, you know, this whole thing with Dino. I didn't find out about this situation with Dino until this morning. And that's the reason why I took my video down. It had nothing to do with Josh. It had nothing to do with, you know, his video. I took it down because, you know, at the end of the day, with him pushing Josh aside and everybody else, I'm not trying to get nobody hurt. I'm not trying to bring harm on nobody. It's not about views. You know, this was a story that somebody gave to me literally the other day, and their whole purpose in telling me the story is like, look, bro, what you can show is that how one individual, and that's Muppet, ended up losing his life for making some comments, and how this other individual ended up, you know, going on with his career, and, you know, he made the same kind of comments or the same kind of statements, and, you know, he was eventually made as a Mexican mafia member. That was the whole purpose of the story. You know, Josh goes on this long tangent about how he knows my source, and my source said that I wasn't supposed to talk about Magoo, or I wasn't supposed to mention no names. That's a bunch of hogwash bullshit. I'm telling you guys straight up right now. He made me look around in here for, like, do I got cameras or you know, microphones in here somewhere? How the hell does Josh know that when it's not true? My source, first and foremost, I don't know who he's thinking my source is. It doesn't really matter. I don't talk to Josh every day, so he don't know my source. He don't talk to the same people I talk to. This guy, literally, I just started talking to him last week. He told me the story the way it was. There was no, you can mention Magoo or don't mention Magoo or don't mention Dino, or none of that. This was the story as he gave it to me. That's the way I gave it to you guys. You know what I mean? Unfortunately, something happened, but this is, I hope you guys will understand that this is something that could happen in any one of these stories that are told. I hope you guys are smart enough to at least figure that out. If you guys really think that it's my objective to get people hurt, that's what I'm doing, that, you know, that's why I tell these stories, or it's about views, or it's about, you know, the bag that people keep talking about, then don't watch my channel, because that's not what I'm about. You know, somebody that has an agenda like that, they shouldn't be on YouTube. That's not what I'm about. You know, bottom line is, other content creators have dropped the ball in the past. They've put out videos that they know they shouldn't have put out, or they said things that they shouldn't have said. They made mistakes that they shouldn't have made, but yet, you know, it happened. That's something that's going to happen. You know, I'm very sympathetic to Magoo. I told you guys I addressed his family in that video the other day. And I know there's people that are going to say, you know what, man, B can spin it any way he wants. It's bullshit. He knew what was going to happen. He's an NF member. He knows the politics better than everybody, blah, 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 blah. But that's not the case. I knew there was two things I could do. By not saying nothing and not putting that story out, what could have happened to Magoo? Again, later on, somebody within that organization could have stumbled across that, and they could have pushed, you know, that agenda against him. Somebody else could have, you know, stumbled across it right there online. It's that easy. Everybody got smartphones. You know, bottom line is this: Josh makes the assumption that Magoo got a pass. Let's just say that's the truth. He got a pass. If that's the truth, he got a pass, then why would he allow this YouTube video to have that kind of effect on him? Why would he think that a YouTube video by some, you know, random dude that's not even a Sureño that put this video out, why would that mean that his past wasn't no good? This is obviously just somebody else that stumbled across his case that knows about his information. Or why would he lock it up? Obviously, there's more to it than just that. There's more to this story. For him to put that much faith in my video, to say, you know what, this guy on YouTube that drops this video, you know, because he dropped this video on me, my past from my supposed brothers is no good. Come on, man. You guys really believe that? Why would Magoo think that because of my video? Explain that to me. Why would he think that that past was no good because Boxer on YouTube put a video out saying, look, he made a statement when he was 16. When if Magoo was 100% confident about him getting that pass, you know, those brothers would have told him, hey, you know, you got to pass. Don't worry about what anybody else tells you. I know how that stuff works. If you know, you got an NF member that gets a pass like that, and that situation comes up, they're going to tell that person later on down the line that's pushing that issue that, hey, this has already been cleared up. It's already been looked into. You know, they already know about it. So, you know, what are you talking about? You know, this is good. This is something that happened years ago. But obviously there was more to it than that. There's something else going on. This was just maybe the last little part of it that made him say, you know what, that pushed him over that last hump. And again, as far as Dino, you know, I never said anything negative about Dino. I never put nothing out there about him. Just based on the fact that Dino was mentioned, you really gonna hold me accountable for that? Just because I mentioned Dino? Like Dino, the way I presented Dino was he was a victim in this. And like Josh says, I didn't even tell the story right. Motherfucker didn't even tell the story right, right? You know, I got it all fucked up. Well, he didn't tell it right either, because I never said that he testified. I said that there was a gang cop that knew who they were, that identified Magoo in the video and went and took him to a substation and sat him down and elicited a statement out of him. That's what I said. But he said nothing about him testifying. So, you know, I don't know what this guy's smoking. I don't know what he's on, but you know, I didn't say that. So is that what we're doing now? So just based on the fact that when you're telling a story, you mention the name of somebody and that individual ends up getting hit later because they make an assumption that it might have been him that shared the story with me. Like, come on, man. How much control over that situation do I have? And I'm not skirting accountability for this. Yeah, I take full responsibility for it. Do I feel bad about it? Of course I do. I'm not trying to get people hurt. That's not what I'm trying to do. You know, I tried to, you know, premise this in the beginning of that video. I tried to make it clear what my intentions were. And this is not my story. I just told this story. Somebody shared it with me, and I shared it with you guys, but now everybody wants to kill the messenger. You know, I've said it before and I'll stand on it. I'm responsible for the stuff that comes out on my channel, 100%. You know, but I think people are reaching too far to try to put this blame on me. And there's a lot of people that got it right in the comments. There's a lot of people saying that, you know what, all those of you that are trying to put the blame on Boxer, you know, we all made a choice to get involved in criminal activity when we were young. We made our own choices. We all made choices to get involved with gangs. We all made choices, those of us that did, to get involved with these criminal organizations. So that all comes with this lifestyle, and everybody that signs up for that, they know this. You know what I mean? So again, you know, if there's some of you that feel like my intentions are really to, you know, to bring people down or to go after people, or I'm still trying to, you know, push some kind of foul agenda, if you really believe that, then stop watching my channel. You know what I mean? I'm going to continue doing what I do. I'm going to continue putting out my stories. I had one coming out for you guys tonight, but it's not going to come out now because I had to set that aside and waste my time on addressing this. You know, I'm biting my tongue. I have a lot more to say to, you know, this individual that tried to create all this controversy earlier. But I'm just going to let it go for right now because it's not going to serve me no purpose. And, you know, if this is his way of getting some views, you know what I mean? That's cool. That's how you're supposed to do it. You know, a channel that's getting a little bit of traction, you stir up a little bit of controversy, and that's how you get views. That's how it works. You know what I mean? Josh is not a dummy. You know what I mean? He just, why he did what he did, I don't know. But, you know, obviously he's not a friend of mine, and that's okay. That's okay. You know, how he can say everything that he said and still say, I don't have no issues with Boxer, and I still don't. I don't get that. It's some kind of warped, you know, demented twist of reality. That's not how it works. You can't have it both ways. You're either loyal with somebody and you rock with them, or you don't. You don't do the backbiting and the snake stuff. You know what I mean? How many times have I seen these guys talk about things on YouTube, other prison stories, other things that are happening, exclusive breaking news, that they pop up in my feed and I see it, but I don't go, you know what, I'm going to go run and make a video and slam this dude, tell him how much of an idiot I think he is for talking about this when he don't know what he's talking about. I don't do it, especially the people that, you know, I consider friends. I'm not going to do that to somebody. If there's somebody that I consider a friend, that somebody that has looked out for me in the past, and, you know, that individual, maybe he drops the ball or he does something that I don't agree with, I'm going to get at that cat. I'm going to get at him and I'm going to say, hey, bro, I think you're messing up on this one. You know, as one of your boys, as somebody that, you know, I consider a friend, I would do this, I would do that. Not try to help sink this individual further, or try to bring more negative attention to this individual. You know what I mean? Again, I'm not doing nothing that anybody else that are telling these stories, I'm not doing nothing different than they are. I know everybody tries to present this beautiful picture, you know, talking about they're doing it for the people and it's not for the views and it's not for the bag. Well, I've had conversations behind, you know, behind the scenes with quite a few individuals that are getting paid all this money. And that's what, of course, it's about the money. Of course, you know, part of it is about the money. Not saying that it all is. I'm sure that there might be, you know, a part of them that wants to put out a positive message for the youngsters. But make no mistake about it, you know, that bag, that's what a lot of them are doing it for, is that bag. So when somebody talks about how righteous they are and that they're just in it for, you know, the kids, and to put a message out, and you know, I'm not into this and I'm not into that, and they're pointing fingers and throwing dirt, slinging mud, you know, at other people, that's suspect. You guys are smart, you know, but don't fall for the fuckery, or, you know, these slick talkers that you know, try to make you guys believe that, you know, they're righteous and that they're doing it for this reason, while at the same time they're doing the same thing. You know, I keep repeating myself because I want you guys to understand that, you know, see it for what it is. anytime any of us put a story out there, anytime anybody puts a story out there, it has the potential of getting somebody hurt, because like I explained earlier, there's only certain people that were there, certain people that were involved, and certain people that had knowledge of it. Now later on, it comes out on the YouTube channel, somebody's telling the story, and they try to plug the leak and figure out, well, who was there? Who knew about it? Well, there was only such and such and such and such that knew about it. It had to be this guy. So whack him. You know what I mean? So that was there was a lot of drama in that reactionary video earlier. A lot of drama, a lot of mud was slung. The whole reason why that video was put out earlier was to just stir up the controversy, was to create a bunch of controversy. And I'm sure Josh will get his views, and maybe that'll help. And then he'll go on to the next individual. What goes around comes around, though. Karma always comes full circle. You know what I mean? It comes full circle when you do somebody foul that has done you justice, that has looked out for you, and then you turn on those individuals and you backdoor them, or you backbite them, or you do some scandalous, grimy shit, that catches up with you. So same thing, make you laugh, make you cry. You know what I mean? But in closing, I just want you guys to know that the viewers, that's who I care about. I don't care about none of the content creators, what they do. It's just not something that's relevant to me. The viewers are the ones that I do this for. You know what I mean? The criticism that comes from other content creators, or from some of these individuals that don't know the meaning of loyalty, that doesn't mean nothing to me. But, let me be clear that, my purpose is not to disrespect the Mexican mafia. I understand they're not going to like what I do. They're not going to like the stories that I put out there. But I'm not trying to, get anybody put in bad standings. I'm not trying to, embarrass them or to make them look bad. A lot of the stuff we put out, that's what ends up happening anyway. And like Josh said, they're not going to like me. They're not, no matter what I say. They don't like their business being talked about. But that's what we do. That's what we've been doing. That's what we all have been doing. Anyway, let me make it clear. Bottom line is this. Let me close this up with this. I'm going to continue to put stories out there. I'm going to continue to talk about the things that I talk about. I'm going to be more selective about it, and I'm going to learn from this right here. But make no mistake about it. People are always trying to spin narratives when they see something else that they can capitalize off of, or they can gain some traction off of. That's what people do. I've learned since being a content creator, since I started doing YouTube, that YouTube has created some monsters. Everything from egos to, people just pulling some foul shit. They'd sell out their own mothers. You know what I mean? Friendships don't mean shit when it comes to YouTube. I don't know what it does. It's some kind of crazy, hex or something that content creators get caught up in. I've tried to stay away from all that stuff. Does B make mistakes? Of course B does. I'm not perfect. Like Josh tried to run with the whole thing on tablas. Come on, man. I put my confidence in somebody else. I put my credibility in somebody else, and it backfired on me. But again, this wasn't something that I just came out of nowhere with. This was something that was given to me by somebody else. I made a judgment call, and it was the wrong call. But how many times has that happened to other people? How many times have people been wrong about where this happened in Salinas Valley? Who was involved? Who got stabbed? Who didn't get stabbed? Why did it happen? Blah, 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 blah. So people can continue to try to spin this up, and that's okay. I don't care about all that. Those of you that want to spin that narrative, and those of you that don't want to support me because you really think that that's my agenda, then just don't watch my channel no more. When it's B's time to get off YouTube because, my stories are not either resonating with people, or people don't want to hear those stories no more, then that's when B will, fade off into the horizon. But it's not going to be because somebody ran me off the YouTube yard. Come on, man, you guys know better than that. And, for those individuals that had this idea that something huge was going to come dropping, and that, you know, this was going to come out and it was going to make somebody look bad. Seriously, don't flatter yourselves. That was a fail. You know, I mean, it all sounded good, and there's going to be people that are going to run with it. Everybody's got their diehard, you know, their viewers, or, you know, the people that have remained loyal. You should take some notes from them. The ones that have remained loyal to your channel, they're going to run with it, and they're going to be influenced by things that the content creator on that channel puts out, understandably, just like mine, just like I have some on my channel. I can say something about somebody and they're going to run with it, and, you know, they'll support it, and, you know, they'll allow themselves to be influenced by things that I say. But I hope you guys are smart enough to know that it's never my intentions to have anybody hurt. I don't do this, you know, with the intention to go after people. I don't do this with intentions to see people lock it up, or to see people get hurt, or people get stabbed. That's not what I do, you know. And again, you know, I feel bad for cut. And again, you know, I'm gonna say it again, I feel bad for Dino. This wasn't supposed to happen to Dino. This was never in my intentions. I guarantee you guys that, you know, if there was any way that I could see into the future and see that these, you know, things were going to happen, I would have never told that story. If I would have knew these things were going to happen and I would have told that story anyway, then of course that would have meant that I would have had an agenda. But I promise you, had I known that it was going to have this kind of fallout, I would have never told that story. That's what we do. Those of us that call this journalism, I don't refer to myself as a journalist. I'm somebody that puts out stories. I'm somebody that, you know, I have a lot of experience in prison. I'm somebody that used to be a part of that lifestyle, that can speak on things, you know, so I share my experiences with other people, so that hopefully that one youngster that glorifies that lifestyle doesn't make those same mistakes. In a way, there's still a message about this situation right here. It just goes to show more, you know, the treachery that we're dealing with. Again, I don't make those rules. That's what happens when we have to tippy-toe around, you know, these organizations that they live by some strict rules. And for you know, them to make that assumption that it was Dino, it was wrong. I'm telling you guys, Dino had nothing to do with this. I have never spoken to Dino. I don't know who Dino was. The individual that I got this from is locked up, is in prison right now. So that was a bad call. I hope, you know, whatever happened to Dino, I don't know. I've only heard bits and pieces. I hope whatever happened, it wasn't that serious. You know, I hope he recovers. I hope that, you know, this didn't affect his family somehow. I understand, you know, there's a lot going on out there in Southern California. There's people that live in their neighborhoods and they're literally surrounded by it, and it can get real out there real fast. I understand that. But I'm not, you know, I'm not putting these stories out there to bring any kind of harm to anybody. That's not why I do it. If every story would bring some type of harm to somebody, I would stop telling them. But, you know, again, you guys need to understand that this can happen with any given story that we tell. You guys like to hear about the treachery. You guys like to hear about what these organizations do. You know, you guys wait to hear the next story. But just understand that when something like this happens, you know, this is the lifestyle that we're dealing with. This is the reality of it. Things like this can happen. You know, I felt bad that Magoo even locked it up. And I know some of you are probably like, well, come on, B. If you felt that, then why would you put the story out? Because like I said, let's just say for argument's sake that Magoo got a pass. Say he got a pass. Why wouldn't he believe that that pass was real? Why would somebody, a YouTuber, how would a YouTuber have that kind of influence or be able to create any kind of doubt in Magoo's mind that his past wasn't good, when, like, I'm not part of that organization. I'm somebody speaking, I'm somebody on the outside speaking on them. Why would Magoo think that I would know if, you know, his past was real or not? I don't understand it. I'm not that connection. I'm not making it. For those of you that I hope I'm explaining it right, but if I got a pass from an NF general or something, say Chuco gave me a pass, and obviously, I had to believe at some point that that pass was real, especially if I made a statement and then later on he said, hey, we're going to give you a pass. And then I'm functioning with these guys. I'm out there on the yards with these guys. Nothing has happened. So I know now that that pass was real. But then years later, here comes a YouTuber that speaks on my situation. Why am I going to allow that YouTuber to have that kind of influence on me if that, create any doubt that that pass wasn't real? So that tells me that there's something else involved. There's more to it than just this story. This might have been the straw that broke the camel's back. And I'm sure we'll hear more about it when it happens. It'll come out. Trust and believe that. I'm going to do everything I can, utilize all my resources to find out, to get it directly from Magoo or a member of his family. Most of the time they reach out. So we'll see what happens. We'll see if somebody pops up in my IG or they'll pop up somewhere else, but word will get around somehow, some way. You know what I mean? Anyways, with that being said, as far as Josh and the homie hangout, this is one and done. I'm done with you. I'm not gonna continue making videos about you. I got nothing to say, nothing else to say. Thank you for letting it be known where you're at, bro. Thank you for letting that be known. I hope you feel good about yourself. I'm the same one that looked out for you. I ain't never done nothing but, look out for you, bro. That's all I've ever done. And for you to try to make it seem like you're on some type of, like I said, some grandiose, righteous, highbrow purpose, and like you're doing good for the better of mankind, that this is bigger than our friendship and that you're tasked with this. Who are you tasked with? Who tasked you with this? Like, who hired you, bro? Like, are you the YouTube police? I don't understand what you mean. You're tasked. You say that you got this information from people that are friends and that you can't burn them. That's why you didn't call B, and that's why you're speaking in riddles the way that you're speaking. Come on, man. Come on, Josh. Let's keep it real. You know what I mean? Why are people going to reach out to you with this information? You're in the same predicament I'm in, whether you want to believe it or not. You're not looked at as being any better or any worse than anybody that's in bad standings. You're in the same boat. There's no category. You seem to keep on saying like, I done my time and I'm not a snitch. I done my time the way I was supposed to do my time. I did too. I was never in question. Never was my loyalty ever put in question during both of those numbers. But what's the point? What's the point in saying that? Like, what are you trying to prove? I can say this. I can say this in the same context. Regardless to some of the undesirable things I had to do in the past, one thing I can say is that I'm not a coward. That, I didn't do nothing in prison that made me look like a coward. So, I mean, let's keep it real. If you move in excellence, I mean, explain to everybody how moving in excellence, was getting that $500 from Flacco. I talked to him about it earlier. He didn't forget about it. He was like, yeah, the whole reason why is because my family was being victimized and I didn't want my family to be brought into it no more. So that's why I paid him. That's crazy, bro. That's crazy. This is somebody that you were supposed to have been close friends with. Nobody has forgot about what's happened in the past. Everything's kind of straight right now because people just made it that way. But it's all good. It's all good. I hope you feel good about it, bro. You know what I'm saying? I hope you feel like you accomplished something. It's, I'm gonna wake up tomorrow morning the same way I woke up this morning. Ain't nothing gonna change. I'm gonna continue doing what I do over here. I'm gonna continue putting out content, and it didn't even. The only thing that this really did do is I had a video coming out, and I had to put that down and take some time away to do this. So I mean, I guess you accomplished that. It delayed my video for coming out for another day. You know what I'm saying? But no, I'm not gonna jump on here, say nothing crazy. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna say nothing crazy. I'm not, this is one and done. I'm done. I'm not gonna say nothing else. I'm not gonna feed into it. If that's what you want to do, then you know, you can do that, bro. That's a look that you're gonna have to deal with. But I'm done with you, man. You know, anyways, on that note, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. But again, you know, I hope you guys, understood everything that I said. You know, if any of you guys have any questions, you guys want to tap in with me on my IG or get at me, you guys know how to get at me. I'm transparent. I've always been. You guys can ask me whatever you want to ask me, and I'll tell you guys. I'll be occasionally answering some of you guys in the comments. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. For those of you that feel some type of way and are jumping on that bandwagon, that's cool. Like I said, move off and go over there and watch, you know, watch something else. I don't need the negativity on my channel. I don't even need your comments on there. I'm just gonna start blocking people that have nothing intelligent to say. You know what I mean? Those that are grown up, those that are intelligent, those that, you know, look at things for what they really are. You know, the positive viewers, the ones that have been watching, the ones that have been supporting me. I'm going to continue what I do because of you guys. The viewers that have been rocking with me from day one, the ones that are not switch hitters. You know what it means? The ones that won't be influenced by other people that like to create controversy or like to grandstand and throw out, you know, a bunch of hypocrisy. That T-Money incident that happened in Salinas Valley is a prime example of other people doing the same thing. The only difference with T-Money is that he didn't get moved on. But had he got moved on the next day, I wonder, like, I wonder what kind of conversation we would have been having then. Like, man, hey, you know, shit happens, or, you know, I can't do nothing about that. You know what I mean? It's all good when you're on the outside looking in, but we all have made mistakes. We all have made mistakes as content creators, and I'll own this one. You know, we all have made mistakes, but I can't be held accountable, you know, for things that I have no control over. Things I have no control over, as far as, like, you know, Dino, again, it's an unfortunate situation, but somebody else made an assumption that he was the one that gave me that story. That's crazy. You guys don't see something wrong with that? Somebody else made an assumption. He didn't get that benefit of the doubt. I would have at least have thought that they would have had to have something to go with that to prove it. Like, just that, based on that alone, that's crazy. But anyways, with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and cut this short. I'll get you guys out more content tomorrow. I got another story coming out, a good one. I got another inner demon coming out. It'll be tomorrow. Again, I had to put everything aside, set my day aside to address this right here. And, you know, I'm just going to say this. I'm not going to continue to do these follow-up videos on this stuff. People can say what they want to say. They can jump out there and troll and make comments. You know, hopefully you guys will hold them accountable for that. Some of you, I think, get it. Some of you, I've been watching the comments, and, you know, some of you are spot on. So with that said, I'm gonna go ahead and cut this one short, but I hope you guys had a good day. And with that said, this your boy B, and I'm out.